The last message. The sound of Liam's phone vibrating broke the quiet hum of the fluorescent lights above him. He blinked, startled out of his daze, and looked at the screen. One new message from Mia. He felt his heart skip a beat. His thumb hovered over the notification as a cold wave of confusion passed over him. Mia? That couldn't be right. Not now, not after what had just happened. Still, he opened it. Mia, 12:03 a.m. QM. Help me. He stared, disbelieving. The message pulsed on his screen like something alive. He reread it. Again and again. QM. Just 2 words, but they wrapped around his chest like a vice. Mia had just died. Minutes ago. The police call had come in at 11:58 p.m. The accident was severe. They said, immediate, no chance of survival. Time of death. Liam remembered the officer saying, approximately 11:58 p.m. But now it was 12:03 a.m. and Mia just texted him. He leapt from the hospital bench and stumbled into the hallway, eyes wide. His breath caught in his throat as he looked around, as if expecting her to walk out of one of the ER rooms, smiling, telling him it was all a prank, that she was fine. But she didn't. There were only the quiet murmurs of nurses, the beeping of monitors, and the occasional rustle of paper charts. He paced in circles, gripping his phone tightly, trying to convince himself there was a mistake. It had to be an old message, delayed by the network. Maybe her phone auto-sent it, or someone had hacked it. But deep down, he knew none of that made sense. Mia was gone. The message was new. He walked back into the waiting room, slumped into the chair, and called her number. 1 ring, 2, 3, click. A soft static filled the line. Then breathing. Not his. Faint, shallow, like someone barely holding on. Mia, he whispered. No response. Then the call dropped. He stared at the screen in silence, the disconnected call staring back at him. A nurse entered the room, her expression gentle. Mr. Nguyen, she asked quietly. He looked up, dazed. They've completed the report. You can identify the body, if you're ready. His body felt hollow as he followed her down the corridor. Every step echoed unnaturally loud, as if time had slowed. He could barely process the sterile white walls, the humming lights, the smell of antiseptic. All he could hear was that one text message, playing over and over in his head. QM. The cold storage room was colder than he expected. The nurse hesitated, then pulled back the sheet. Mia, paler still, her face bruised but unmistakably hers. The lips that used to smile at his jokes were now frozen in a half-expression piezo, almost. She died instantly, the nurse said softly, as if answering his unspoken question. The impact was immediate. There was no pain. Liam nodded, unable to speak. When he returned to the waiting area, the message was still on his phone. He opened it again, staring at those words until they blurred with the forming tears in his eyes. How could she text him after she had died? By morning, the questions hadn't gone away. If anything, they'd grown louder. The police told him they'd need her phone for the report, and he obliged, still in shock. But later that day, he received another message. Mia, 9:42 a.m. It's dark. His hands trembled as he held the phone. This time, the message had no punctuation, just 2 words, and yet they seemed heavier than the entire world. He called her number again, straight to voicemail. He went to the police, nearly shouting at the officer in charge. There's something wrong, he insisted. Mia's phone is still active. It's texting me. The officer raised a brow. That's not possible, sir. We have her phone. No, you don't, Liam snapped, pulling out his own phone. Look. He showed him the screen, the unread message glowing faintly. The officer's eyes narrowed. Come with me. In a small evidence locker, Liam was shown the wreckage of Mia's phone. It looked like it had gone through a fire. The screen was shattered, almost liquefied. The SIM card had melted halfway through its slot. The back cover was crushed inwards, and the battery had ruptured. No signal could be sent from this, the officer said grimly. It's completely dead. Liam staggered back, eyes wide. Then how am I getting these messages? The officer looked uncomfortable. Could be a glitch. Ghost texts happen sometimes. The system tries to resend old messages. These aren't old. She never said these words to me. Not once. The officer didn't have an answer for that. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. Every shadow in his apartment stretched afar. Every creak in the walls sounded like a whisper. He lay in bed, phone clutched in his hand, waiting. At exactly 18 a.m., his phone buzzed. Mia, to 18 a.m. Why didn't you answer? He sat bolt upright, heart racing. A minute later another. Mia, to 19 a.m. It's cold here. He didn't reply. What would he even say? Instead, he turned off the phone and threw it across the room. It landed on the rug, screen facing down. He sat in silence, listening to the stillness of the apartment, trying to calm his breathing. And then knock, knock. 3 soft knocks on his apartment door. He froze. No one visited him this late, or ever. He walked slowly to the door, barefoot, his limbs numb. He looked through the peephole. Empty hallway. Another knock, this time from behind him. He spun around, nothing. Then the phone vibrated again, even though it had been shut off. He walked slowly to it, picked it up, screen glowing on its own. Mia, to 23 a.m. I'm here. He dropped the phone. Over the next few days, the messages didn't stop. Sometimes they came at night, sometimes in the middle of the day. Always brief, always chilling. I'm trapped. It hurts. I see you. They're watching me. He's coming. Liam started hearing Mia's voice in his apartment. Soft, ghostly echoes whispering from the vents. Her laughter in the bathroom mirror. Her perfume lingering on his sheets. He stopped leaving the house. He searched online, desperate for answers. He found forums, stories, even conspiracy theories. Most were garbage. But one post stood out. If you get a message from the dead, don't answer. Not until you know who you're really talking to. It chilled him. Because deep down, Liam was beginning to wonder, was it really Mia? Or was something pretending to be her? But despite everything, his fear, his grief, couldn't stop checking his phone. Even when his friends warned him to stop. Even when his own reflection started moving slightly out of sync in the mirror. Even when he caught a glimpse of a woman in white standing at the end of the hallway only to vanish. When he blinked. Because the truth was simple. He loved Mia, still did. And if there was even the smallest chance she was still reaching out to him, he had to know why. Then, on the 7th day after her death, came the message that changed everything. Mia, 11:58 p.m. You have to come to the tunnel. Liam's blood froze. The same tunnel where she crashed. The message followed with a location pin. It pulsed red on the map, blinking slowly. He stared at it for a long time, heart pounding. Then, against every instinct, he grabbed his jacket and went. Instant death, impossible message. The drive to the tunnel felt like a fever dream. Liam's knuckles were white against the steering wheel, eyes flicking between the road and his phone screen. The map guided him down empty backroads, each one darker and more twisted than the last. He hadn't been to the crash site since the night Mia died. He couldn't bring himself to. The photos Alana, her crumpled car against the concrete barrier. The broken glass glittering like ice had haunted his dreams. Now his headlights pierced the fog as the familiar curve of Everpine Tunnel came into view. Cold air funneled out from its mouth like a breath. His phone buzzed. One new message. Mia, 12:03 a.m. I'm waiting. He swallowed hard. Liam parked near the barricade the authorities had set up to keep people out. How? Someone had clearly moved the cones aside. He slipped past them, the gravel crunching under his shoes, and stepped into the tunnel. It was colder inside, damp, the air thick with the faint scent of burnt rubber and something metallic. He walked slowly, heart pounding. The sound of his own breathing echoed unnaturally around him. Then, his phone vibrated again. He pulled it out, no new message, but the flashlight turned on by itself. He looked down at the screen. It had opened to a photo album. One photo, taken just now. It showed Liam, standing in the tunnel, all except for a blurred shape behind him. A woman. He spun around. No one there. Just the long stretch of tunnel fading into darkness. He backed away slowly, the cold air biting his skin. He didn't realize he had walked straight to the crash site, until he saw the faded blood stains on the concrete. Someone had left dried flowers on the ground. A photo of Mia was tucked into the bouquet, smiling brightly. Liam's phone vibrated again. He didn't want to look, but he did. Mia, 12:11 a.m. Why didn't you stop me? His vision blurred. He remembered that night, the argument, how she stormed out of his apartment, her voice shaking, how he didn't chase her, how he told himself she'd come back. Instead, she drove into a tunnel and never came out. He dropped to his knees beside the photo, eyes burning. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "God, I'm so sorry." The tunnel around him groaned. Not wind, not pipes, something deeper. A sound like a whisper and a growl combined. Liam shot up and ran, out of the tunnel, across the gravel, and back to his car. He didn't stop until he slammed the door shut and locked it, his breath fogging the windshield. His phone was silent now. No more messages. The next morning, Liam returned to the coroner's office. He demanded answers. "You told me she died instantly," he said. "Are you sure?" Dr. Ellis, the coroner, looked startled but nodded. "We're certain. The trauma to her brain was immediate. No signs of resuscitation. Time of death, 11:58 p.m. Then how did she send me a text at 12:03? Dr. Ellis frowned. "That's not possible." Liam showed him the phone. The message glowed clearly on the screen. "QM." Dr. Ellis leaned forward. "May I see your device?" Liam handed it over. The doctor inspected it, brows furrowing deeper. "This is peculiar. There's no sender metadata attached to this message." "What does that mean?" "It means the phone received the message, but there's no transmission record. It's like it appeared locally." Liam felt a chill crawl up his spine, like it was already in the phone, or written by something that bypassed the network entirely. The silence that followed was heavy. Dr. Ellis cleared his throat. "Look, unofficially, I've seen some strange things in this job. Bodies that bleed days after death. Phones that ring after being destroyed. Grief plays tricks on the world, on time. You think I'm imagining this? I think reality gets blurry when death's involved." Liam took back his phone. "Something is happening. I saw something in that tunnel." Dr. Ellis looked at him carefully. "Just be careful what you open yourself to, especially if it's not her." Liam spent the next 2 days obsessing. He stopped going to work, stopped answering friends. He scoured Mia's old texts, looking for clues. He replayed voicemails, listened for any sign, any slip. One message from a month ago stood out. "Sometimes I dream I'm trapped in the dark. I scream, but no one hears me. When I wake up, I'm still screaming." He dismissed it as a bad dream at the time. But now, was she dreaming her death before it happened? Or was the dream something else? His phone buzzed again. This time, a photo, taken from behind him, in his own apartment. His blood ran cold. He turned slowly. No one. He turned back to the phone, and there it was, Mia's reflection, in the TV screen behind him. She wasn't looking at him. She was looking away, as if watching someone or something else. Desperate, Liam drove to Mia's parents' house the next morning. He hadn't spoken to them since the funeral. Mia's mother, pale and grief-stricken, opened the door. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "I need to see her room," he said quickly. "Please, I think she's trying to tell me something." Her mother hesitated, then stepped aside. The room was untouched, just like Mia had left it. Posters on the walls, her journal on the nightstand, the mirror above her dresser slightly smudged. Liam stepped in, feeling a strange pressure in the air. He walked to the mirror, touched it. A sudden chill ran up his arm. His reflection flickered, just for a second. Mia, standing behind him again. She raised her hand to touch his shoulder. He spun around. Nothing. Then, from the closet, a thud. He opened it. Inside, on the floor, was an old showbox. He pulled it out, hands trembling. Inside were letters, dozens of them, each addressed to Liam, "In case I never come back." He sat on her bed and opened the first. Her handwriting was shaky. "Sometimes, I feel like something is following me, watching me. I don't know what it wants, but I think it's getting closer. I'm scared. If anything happens to me, don't trust every message you get. It might not be me." That night, Liam slept with the letters beside him. He dreamed of the tunnel only this time. He was inside Mia's car. She was in the driver's seat, screaming. Something crawled from the back seat toward her, long arms reaching. He woke in a sweat. Another message. "Mia, 2:18 a.m. You saw him." His heart hammered. "He was in the car with me." The next morning, he went to the police station. He demanded the dashcam footage. They initially refused, but he pushed, begged. Eventually, they agreed to let him view the raw filing cut. In the viewing room, the detective pulled up the video. "You won't see much," he warned. "Just the last few seconds." The footage began. Mia's car turned into the tunnel, her face calm, focused. Then shadows shifted in the back seat. Something moved. A figure, pale, crawling forward like smoke made solid. Mia's face twisted in terror. She screamed. The wheel jerked. The crash. The screen froze. Liam sat there, unable to breathe. The detective stared, pale. "That wasn't in the version we archived." That night, Liam received a final message. "Mia, 11:58 p.m. He's coming for you next." Broken phone, still typing. The evidence locker was cold and silent. Liam stood stiffly in front of the metal shelf, heart pounding in his ears, as Officer Vin unlocked the storage drawer. "There it is," the officer said quietly, pulling out a clear evidence bag. Inside lay Mia's phone, or what was left of it. The screen was a spiderweb of glass fractures. The front camera had melted halfway down the case. The battery bulged like it had overheated from the inside, and the back panel was warped, nearly fused to the rest of the device. "No signal could go out from this thing," Officer Vin muttered, shaking his head. "No SIM activity, no wireless capability. It's just a burnt-out husk." Liam stepped closer, staring at it like it might suddenly come to life. "But I've still been getting messages," he whispered. "Last night, the night before that. She's been texting me from that phone." The officer gave him a sidelong glance. "We triple-checked it. No clone SIM, no dual devices, no access through online backups. Whatever you're receiving, it's not coming from here." Liam reached out, hand trembling. "Can I hold it?" The officer hesitated, then nodded and unsealed the bag. Liam carefully picked up the remains of Mia's phone. It was ice cold to the touch, as if it had just been pulled from a freezer. Suddenly his own phone vibrated. He nearly dropped the broken device. He fumbled for his phone and unlocked it. "Mia, 10:14 a.m. You're holding it." He froze, slowly. He looked back at the wrecked phone in his hand. "How?" he whispered. Another message. "It still remembers." Liam backed away, his hands starting to shake. "What does that mean?" No reply. But the message didn't vanish. It just stayed there waiting. That night, Liam sat in his apartment with both phones in front of him. Mia's broken phone didn't power on. There was no response from any button. It was beyond dead. Still, every hour, he received new messages. It's dark again. He's watching you now. Don't sleep tonight. He couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed both devices and drove across town to a private phone repair technician named Tao, known for taking jobs others wouldn't touch. Tao examined Mia's device under a magnifier, whistling softly. "This phone's seen hell," he muttered. "Batteries fried. Circuits are fused, but here's the thing," he tapped the motherboard with tweezers somehow. "The NAND chip is still intact. That's the part where memory's stored." "Can it be accessed?" Liam asked. Tao shrugged. "Maybe. But with this damage, it'll be unstable. I'll try a read-only extraction. If this phone has anything left to say, we'll hear it." Liam sat in the corner, clutching his coat while Tao worked. The small workshop was lit by a single fluorescent bulb that buzzed just loudly enough to annoy. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Then Tao stopped typing. His face was pale. You need to see this." Liam stood and walked over. On the screen were recovered files, dozens of them, some labeled with timestamps, others with strings of distorted symbols. But at the top was a folder called "Do Not Open." Liam looked at Tao. "I didn't name it," the man whispered. "It was already titled that way." He opened it anyway. Inside was a single audio file. No title, no timestamp. Tao clicked play. At first, just static, then faint breathing, and then Mia's voice. "I know you'll find this. I hope you do. If you're hearing me, Liam, something's wrong. Ever since I drove through the tunnel, I've felt it. It followed me. I can't sleep. I see him. In the mirrors. In reflections. But no one else sees. If you get this, don't trust anything that uses my voice." A beat of silence. Then a second voice. "Not human. Not right. You shouldn't have listened." The recording cut off. Tao turned off the monitor and stepped back. "I'm out," he said. "I've seen some things in my life. Man, but this, you're messing with something bigger than tech here." Liam nodded slowly. "I think she's trying to protect me, even now." Tao handed him a USB. "Take the data. I'm deleting it from here. And if I were you, I'd stop digging." That night, Liam didn't sleep. He sat at his desk, watching the USB like it might bite him. He didn't open the files again. He didn't need to. He just kept thinking of Mia's words. "Don't trust anything that uses my voice." And yet, the messages kept coming. "He's closer now. You let him out. Why did you open the file? Then, you should have died instead of me." Liam's stomach twisted. He typed back, for the first time. "Is this really you?" No response. Then a knock on the door. 3 slow knocks. He stood, every hair on his neck standing up. "Hello," he called out. No answer. He approached the door, pressed his eye to the peephole. Nothing. Then another message. "Don't open it." Liam stepped back. Suddenly, the door handle turned once, twice, slowly. Then silence. He stood frozen, barely breathing. After what felt like an hour, he forced himself to move. He walked to the bathroom, flipped on the light, and stared at himself in the mirror. That's when he saw it. Mia, not beside him, in the reflection, behind him. He turned around. Empty. The mirror was fogging up, but there were no showers, no heat. Then letters began to form in the condensation. "He's inside." Liam ran out of the bathroom. By the next morning, Liam's inbox was full of messages from Mia's number, but they were all blank. No text, just empty boxes. Then a voicemail came in. He hesitated, then played it. It was her voice. "You've brought him too close. You have to break the chain, destroy the phone, delete everything, or he'll use me to get through. Static. Please let me go." Liam stared down at the broken phone on his desk, the ghost of Mia's life, the haunted shell that kept pulling her voice back into his world. He picked it up, and for the first time since her death threw it. It shattered again on the floor, this time beyond repair. Then he opened his laptop, plugged in the USB, selected all the files, deleted them, emptied the recycle bin. His hands trembled. His phone buzzed one last time. Mia, 6:06 a.m. Thank you. That was the last message he ever got from her. For weeks, the apartment was quiet. No more knocking. No more texts. No more shadows and mirrors. Liam began to believe it was over. Until one night, he received a message from an unknown number. She was just the beginning. His blood ran cold. And then another. Now it's your turn. The second voice. Liam hadn't slept much since the message from the unknown number. She was just the beginning. Now it's your turn. Those words played over and over in his mind like a curse he couldn't silence. He tried deleting the messages again. He reset his phone. He even changed numbers. But the texts still commenslant, persistent, and wrong. On the fourth night of silence, Liam dared to believe it had stopped. That maybe had broken whatever this thing was. Then, just after 3 a.m., his phone buzzed again. Mia, 3:02 a.m. One new voicemail. Liam stared at the screen. He hadn't gotten a voicemail in daysnet since the last recording where she'd told him to let her go. That message had sounded like Mia, real, frightened. But this felt different. Still, his thumb hovered over the play button. The phone vibrated again. Another message, just above the voicemail notification. Mia, 3:02 a.m. Don't listen. His blood froze. Was that warning from her, or from the thing pretending to be her? He stared at the screen. The voicemail icon blinked slowly, as if daring him. Liam took a deep breath, hit play. At first, silence, then static, the low, underwater kind that makes your ears feel like they're sinking. Then breathing, deep, ragged, and then a voice. But it wasn't Mia. It sounded like her at first, high-pitched, soft, but just slightly off, like someone mimicking her with a cracked recording. Words layered over words, almost like two tracks playing at once. Liam. His stomach turned. Why did you leave me? Why did you let me die? The voice wavered, then dropped in pitch. You were supposed to die instead. And then came the sound, fingernails scraping something hard, metallic. Liam pulled the phone away, heart hammering in his chest. But the voicemail wasn't done. The voice changed again. Deeper now, not Mia, not even trying to be. A voice so distorted it felt like it was scraping his bones. She was my doorway. Liam's hands trembled. Now, you are. Then a screech rill, broken like a recording tape unraveling inside his skull. He yanked out his earbuds and threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor, screen still glowing. The voicemail ended, but the apartment was no longer quiet. A slow creaking sound came from the hallway. The closet door. Liam forced himself to his feet, stepped toward it. The door stood slightly ajar, just enough to see a slice of shadow. He reached for the knob, paused. From behind the door came a soft, slow breath. Something was inside, and it wasn't trying to hide. He backed away. Then the phone buzzed again from across the room. He picked it up, screen cracked, but still functional. One new message. Unknown, 3:11 a.m. You heard him. Liam stared at the screen. Now he knows where to find you. The next morning, Liam sat in his car outside a church. It wasn't one he regularly attended. He didn't even believe in this kind of thing. But desperation has a way of forcing your hand. He stepped inside, eyes darting around at the old wooden pews and faded stained glass. The priest, Father Ann, was in his 60s, face lined with time and quiet empathy. You said it was urgent, he said. Liam nodded. I think something followed my girlfriend from the place where she died, and now it's following me. Father Ann frowned. You think it's demonic? I don't know what to call it, but it speaks using her voice, sends me messages, and it's getting stronger. The priest was quiet for a moment, then he nodded slowly. There are things we don't fully understand. Spirits caught between worlds, echoes, mimics. Mimics. They imitate the voices of the dead. sometimes to torment, sometimes to deceive. Liam swallowed hard. So it's not her? If she warned you not to listen, then it's likely not her. The dead don't often lie. But the things that use them as masks, they lie very well. Liam leaned forward. How do I stop it? Father Un's expression darkened. You may not be able to, but you can stop listening. Block the signal. Close the loop. What loop? Grief, memory, attention. It feeds on those. If it's using her voice to keep you bound, then you have to let go of the voice, the messages, all of it. I tried that. It didn't work. Then destroy what remains of her in this world. Anything it can use. Phone backups, photos, audio clips, even the voicemail. Liam hesitated. That feels like erasing her. You're not erasing her. You're protecting her memory. There's a difference. That night, Liam did what he never thought he could. He gathered every video, every photo, every audio message Mia had ever sent him. Everything from the last 3 years. He loaded it onto a single encrypted drive and smashed it with a hammer. He deleted the cloud backups, the phone's caches, unlinked every connection to her contact ID. Finally, he played the corrupted voicemail one last time, only this time through a spectrum analyzer. In the middle of the voice, hidden in the waveforms, was a second voice track deeper, layered beneath, a pattern, a whisper. Open the door. He deleted it too. Every trace, gone. Then he powered off his phone and placed it in the freezer, an old trick he'd read online to prevent signals from traveling in or out. He stood alone in the kitchen, breathing deeply, waiting. No knocks, no messages, no whispers, just silence. For the first time in weeks, Liam slept. No dreams, no nightmares, no Mia. When he woke, the apartment was still. The sun shone faintly through the blinds. He stepped out of bed and walked to the bathroom, washed his face, looked in the mirror. His own reflection looked back. No one behind him. No fog. No message. He smiled for the first time in days. Maybe it's over, he whispered. Then, from the living room, a chime. His phone, still powered off, still inside the freezer. It chimed. Once, then again. Liam's heart dropped. He walked to the freezer and opened it slowly. The phone was glowing faintly, despite being powered off, despite the battery supposedly removed. One notification blinked. Voicemail, unknown number. Liam's hands trembled as he picked up the phone. He pressed play. A new voice, not Mia, not the mimic, but something else. Familiar. His own voice. You shouldn't have listened to me. Midnight echoes. Liam had heard many sounds in his apartment, traffic from the street below, the hum of the refrigerator, the groan of old pipes in the walls, but nothing like this. It started 3 nights ago. At precisely 18 a.m., there was a knock. 3 soft raps on his bedroom door. Knock, knock, knock. He had bolted upright, heart pounding in his chest, unsure if it was a dream. The air had felt heavy, cold, still. He'd checked the hallway. No one was there. That was night 1. Night 2. He stayed awake. Phone off. No lights. Just the soft glow of his alarm clock showing the time as it ticked toward the minute of Mia's death. At exactly 18 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Liam held his breath. This time, the knocks came from his closet. He didn't move, didn't speak, only stared at the closed wooden door across the room. The air felt colder again, the shadows longer. Then a faint voice, whispering, from behind the door. Liam. He shut his eyes, covered his ears, waited. The whispers stopped. The room returned to silence. But sleep never came. Now it was the 3rd night. Liam sat on the floor with a flashlight and a recorder in hand, determined to get proof. Not for others, already knew no one would believe him, but for himself. To know he wasn't losing his mind. He watched the clock. To 242:00. His breath came slower now, deeper. He tried to steady his nerves. 2:17. A soft hum filled the air. Not electronic, not mechanical. Like a low vibration in his chest. Then, 2:18 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Louder, from the ceiling. Liam aimed the flashlight upward. Nothing. He hit record on the voice memo app. Knock, knock, knock. Again, now from the bathroom. His heart hammered against his ribs. The light in the hallway flickered. He rose slowly, stepping toward the bathroom door, recorder still running. Another knock. Then silence. He pushed the door open. Empty. The mirror was fogged up. He hadn't used hot water in hours. And again, slowly, letters appeared in the condensation. Why didn't you follow me? He stepped back, shaking. The mirror cleared on its own. His reflection blinked a second after he did. He shut the door. The next morning, Liam sat at the kitchen table, listening back to the recording from the night before. At first, silence, then the 3 knocks, then something else. A faint, garbled whisper layered beneath the sound. He boosted the audio, ran it through a filter. The words became clearer. He's almost inside. Liam's blood ran cold. Was this the same thing that had used Mia's voice before? Or something worse? He scrolled through his contacts, thumb hovering over a name he hadn't touched in over a year. Alex Nguyen, paranormal researcher. His older cousin, a weirdo, a skeptic turned believer, and possibly Liam's only hope now. Alex arrived that evening, lugging a duffel bag full of strange gear. EMF meters, thermal scanners, voice recorders, protective charms, and even a disposable camera. You look like hell, Alex said as soon as he walked in. Liam managed a dry smile. I feel worse. They sat in the living room while Liam caught him up about Mia, the texts, the tunnel, the mimic voice, the voicemail that sounded like his own. Alex listened without interrupting, his face growing more serious by the minute. You said the knocks happen every night at the exact same time? 2:18 a.m., the minute she died. Alex nodded. Residual haunting, maybe, or a time-looped echo. But paired with the mimic voices, that's something else. Could be a parasite. Something feeding off the grief. Liam blinked. A what? A mimic-type entity that latches onto pain, regret, guilt, uses memories and voices to gain your trust and then opens the door. What door? Alex looked up. The one between here and there. They spent the night preparing. Alex placed motion sensors in the hallway and thermal cameras facing the closet and bathroom. He burned sage, drew symbols with salt and chalk. This won't stop it, he said, but it might slow it down or reveal what it actually is. 2 a.m. came fast. They sat in silence, watching the monitors. 2 to 100, 2 to 12. Nothing. 2:15, the temperature dropped. Alex's EMF reader spiked. It's here. 2:17, the camera in the hallway began to flicker. Then, 2:18 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. All 3 sensors went off. The bathroom light shut off by itself. Then a voice came clearer than ever. He opened the door, now it won't close. Alex whispered, did you hear that? It's not just mimicking Mia anymore. It's progressing. On the screen, the thermal cam picked up a cold spot forming in the hallway. A shape, human-sized, head bowed, moving slowly toward Liam's bedroom. Then the motion sensor triggered again, but there was no movement visible on the regular camera. Alex stood up fast. I need to get readings. Don't move. He stepped toward the hallway, EMF reader humming. Wait, Liam called after him. It's stronger this time. It might not be just watching anymore. But Alex didn't stop. He turned the corner into the hallway. Silence. Then a loud crash. Liam jumped to his feet, heart thundering. Alex. No response. He ran down the hall and found Alex lying on the ground, dazed, eyes wide with terror. I saw it, Alex whispered. It looked like her, but its mouth, he gasped, its mouth open sideways. Liam helped him up. We're leaving. Now. They got in the car and drove to Alex's apartment across town. Neither of them spoke for a while. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "You're marked. That thing chose you when Mia died. Maybe because of your grief. Or maybe because you listened." "Then how do I unmark myself?" Alex stared out the window. "I don't know. But if the knock started at the exact time she died, maybe going back to that exact moment somehow is the only way to close the loop." Liam blinked. "You mean go back to the tunnel?" Alex nodded. "On the anniversary, at 18 a.m. You might be able to confront it where the veil first thinned." Liam's chest tightened. "And if I can't?" Alex looked at him. "Then it keeps knocking until you answer." That night, Liam lay on Alex's couch, trying to stay awake. But exhaustion won. He dreamed of the tunnel. Only this time, he was the one driving. And in the passenger seat, Mia. But her eyes were white, and her mouth was stitched shut. She turned to him slowly and pointed at the rearview mirror. He looked. In the back seat, a man with no face, smiling without a mouth. He jolted awake. His phone buzzed beside him. One new message. Unknown 3:03 a.m. She was just the beginning. He's almost through. And then, unknown 3:04 a.m. See you at the tunnel. The passenger seat. The dashcam footage had been stored in the police archives for almost a year. After the initial investigation into Mia's crash, it had been labeled as unremarkable and tucked away evidence that served no purpose beyond procedure. But now, everything had changed. Liam and Alex sat in a dim room inside the police station. A detective named Rivera reluctantly agreeing to pull the original footage. After Liam shared the strange events surrounding Mia's death. "I'll show you the raw feed," Rivera said, frowning. "But don't expect anything groundbreaking. The last time we reviewed this, it was just a tragic accident." Liam swallowed hard. "Please, just let it play." The screen flickered to life. The camera was mounted on the dashboard of Mia's car, facing forward. The timestamp read, March 4th. To 16 a.m. She drove in silence, her hands firmly on the wheel. Her eyes were alert. The tunnel loomed ahead, and headlights reflected off the damp walls. "No sign of distraction," Rivera said. But Liam leaned forward, watching intently. Then at 2 hours 17 minutes and 41 seconds a.m., a faint flicker of movement. From the passenger seat, Alex grabbed the mouse and paused the video. "There, go back to seconds." The detective sighed but rewound the feed. Frame by frame, the image crawled backward. And there it was, a shape, black, humanoid, sitting perfectly still in the passenger seat beside Mia. Its head turned slightly toward her. No visible features, no eyes, just a blurred void where a face should be. Rivera's jaw dropped. That wasn't there before. That's not in the final report footage. Alex's voice was barely above a whisper. They rendered a cleaned-up version for the investigation. Cropped, stabilized. This is the raw data. Liam stared at the screen, cold dread creeping up his spine. The figure didn't move. It just sat there, as if it had been waiting. Then, at 2 hours 17 minutes and 58 seconds, Mia's head jerked to the side. She screamed. The car swerved. She lost control. At 2 hours 18 minutes and 0 seconds, the impact hit. The camera shook violently. Static. Then darkness. They sat in silence. Liam could hardly breathe. "She saw it," he said. "It was right there beside her." Alex nodded grimly. "And she wasn't alone when she died." Detective Rivera shook his head. "I've seen footage doctored in a lot of ways, but this was embedded in the original file. No manipulation. Whatever was in that seat, it was real." Alex turned to Liam. "You said your dream placed you in that car driving, with Mia beside you. What if that wasn't a dream?" Liam frowned. "You think it was a memory? Or a message? A warning? The entity is not just haunting you. It's trying to replace her. Trying to ride shotgun in your life, the way it did hers." Liam's stomach twisted. "But why me?" he whispered. Why not move on to someone else? Alex looked at him seriously. Because you're still connected to her. Emotionally, spiritually. You're the open door. Later that night, back at Alex's apartment, they sat around a coffee table littered with notes, drawings, and screenshots from the dashcam footage. Alex pulled out a piece of paper. It had a symbol on etone Liam didn't recognize. A circle split by 3 jagged lines. What's that? Liam asked. An ancient protection sigil, Alex said. But more importantly, it's also a binding seal, used in rituals meant to trap and entice, especially ones that hitchhike on the living. You think it'll work? I don't know, but we don't have many options left. And the anniversary of her death is coming up in less than 24 hours. I'll go back to the tunnel. The next night, Liam arrived at Everpine Tunnel just after 1:45 a.m. Alex came with him, carrying a duffel full of Gurchalk, salt, candles, a body camera, and the symbol etched into a small wooden medallion. This is risky, Alex warned. If you confront it directly, it might try to enter you, speak through you, even hurt you. Liam took a deep breath. I need to know the truth. I need to end this. Alex nodded. We'll set up a perimeter. You stand at the crash site. That's where the veil is thinnest. They worked quickly. Chalk symbols along the tunnel wall, salt lines in a circle, the medallion placed at the center. As 2:18 a.m. approached, the wind shifted. Cold rushed into the tunnel like a breath exhaled from the earth itself. Liam stepped into the center of the circle. The candles flickered. A low hum began. And then, the knocks. 3 sharp, echoing knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Not on a door, but from the air itself. Liam's phone, long since powered off, lit up inside his coat pocket. He pulled it out. The screen showed nothing but a blinking notification. New message from unknown. He opened it. Look beside you. Liam turned, and she was there. Mia, or something wearing her shape. Her eyes were glassy, her skin pale, but her voice. Liam, help me. He stepped back instinctively. You're not her. The thing shuddered, glitched like a bad video. Its head tilted, its smile widened to far. She opened the door for me. Now you will, too. Alex shouted from behind the salt line. Liam, don't speak to it. Don't accept anything. The figure lunged, but stopped at the salt. It hissed, then split into 2. One still looked like Mia, the other like Liam himself. Distorted, twisting, mocking. You've already let me in, it said in Liam's own voice. When you listened, when you dreamed, when you replayed the crash again and again. Liam gritted his teeth. I'm done listening. He lifted the medallion and held it high. The lines in the tunnel began to glow faintly. Alex began chanting the seal words passed down from ancient scripts. The entities screamed. One of them lunged forward. Mia's double bit burst into smoke the moment it touched the chalk line. The other Liam copy stood defiant. I'll find another door, another tunnel, another soul. Liam stepped forward, holding the medallion to its face. No, you won't. The entity shrieked as the light from the symbol enveloped it. It twisted, cracked, and shattered into black ash. The tunnel fell silent. The candles steadied. The cold lifted. They stood there for a long time, breathing heavily, the weight of it all finally lifting. Alex clapped a hand on Liam's shoulder. It's done. Liam wasn't sure what to say. He just nodded. I think I can let her go now. As they walked back to the car, Liam glanced over his shoulder at the dark mouth of the tunnel. Still silent. For the first time in a year, it didn't feel haunted. The next morning, Liam returned home. He turned on his phone. No new messages. He looked through the old photos one last time, paused on one of Mia smiling in the sun, laughing at something he had said. He whispered, "Thank you, I'll carry the good parts." Then he closed the album and walked into the light of a brand new day. Her favorite song plays itself. Liam hadn't opened Spotify in over a month. Music had once been his therapy, his comfort when the world became too sharp, too loud, but since Mia's death, silence felt safer. She used to say music was like a memory you could replay out loud. And Liam had too many memories now. Too many he didn't want echoing back at him. But on a quiet Tuesday evening, just as the rain began tapping against his windows, his phone lit up on the coffee table. Spotify, Mia's playlist Echo of Us, is now playing. Liam stared. He hadn't touched the app. He hadn't listened to that playlist since her funeral. And yet there it was. Mia's voice, soft and dreamy, floated from the speaker as the intro to Oceans Away began to play. Her favorite song, the one that had played during the memorial service. Liam's stomach turned. He walked over to the phone, heart racing. The screen showed her Spotify account, not his. Her profile picture, her custom playlist. It was sensing through his device. He tried to pause it. Nothing happened. He force-closed the app. The song kept playing. He restarted the phone. Still playing. He yanked the Bluetooth speaker plug. The melody moved to the phone speaker instead. And then a second notification came through. Mia is listening with you. Liam stumbled back. What the hell? He opened the app again. At the top, the listening party feature showed to listeners. One was himself. The Athermia S88 her account. Offline since her death. He clicked the icon. It led to her full playlist, now modified. A new track had been added, one that wasn't there before. Title, Track 00 for Liam. Duration, 146. He hesitated, then tapped play. The recording was not a song. It began with static, followed by soft breathing. Then Mia's voice crystal clear. If you're hearing this, it means you didn't forget me. Liam froze. But I need you to forget me, just enough, so he can't find you again. Her voice was shaking. He's still out there. I held him back at the tunnel. But echoes can last forever if we keep replaying them. The static returned. Then a different voice. Not hers. Not even trying to be. Just darkness, pressed into syllables. You sang my name, Liam, when you cried. When you begged. That was the invitation. Liam pulled the phone away. But the voice continued through his laptop speakers across the room. He hadn't turned it on. Every time the song plays, I come closer. One more verse. One more door. Liam yanked the power cable from the laptop. It went dark. He rushed to his phone again. The screen was black. But the song kept playing. From the walls. From the floorboards. A chorus echoing in her voice. Alex came over an hour later, visibly alarmed. I told you to stop interacting with things that link back to her, he said, scanning the phone with his portable signal sniffer. Why did you open Spotify? I didn't, Liam snapped. It opened itself. It played her funeral song. Alex paused, slowly lowering the scanner. Wait, that song was at Oceans Away. Yes. Alex's eyes widened. That's a resonance anchor. A what? It's like a spiritual fingerprint. If a strong emotional event like death is tied to a sound or object, that thing becomes a bridge. Liam sat down. So the funeral song's a bridge. Alex nodded. And every time it plays, something crosses a little further. Liam's phone buzzed. He jumped. One new message, no sender. Just a single word, sing. The lights flickered. The room temperature dropped. Alex grabbed a thermoscope from his bag. The screen glowed blue. We've got a cold spot. Right behind you. Liam turned. Nothing there. But then the speaker turned on by itself and began playing track 00 for Liam again. Only this time the voice had changed. Mia's voice was deeper, slower, glitching. Why won't you let me in? Alex threw salt toward the speaker. It sparkled, literally sparkled, and shut off. The music stopped. The room warmed slightly. Burn it, Alex said. The phone, the speaker, any device that's come through. You need a fresh start, digitally and spiritually. That night, They built a small fire in the back of Alex's garage. Liam hesitated, holding the phone over the flames. "It's the last thing I have left of her," he murmured. Alex shook his head. "That's not her anymore. It's just a mask." Liam dropped the phone. The flames engulfed it, and for a moment, it screamed. Not a mechanical pop, not a glitch. A scream. From inside the speaker. Liam stumbled back, shaking. The screen cracked, split, and burned. Finally, it went silent, and the fire faded. They thought that would be the end. But 3 nights later, Liam woke to music playing. No phone, no speaker. Just Mia's voice, singing, softly, somewhere inside the house. He followed it through the hallway, into the bathroom. The mirror was fogged again. Letters formed in the mist. "You burned the song, but the song remembers." He wiped the mirror, saw himself, and standing directly behind him, Mia, or what remained. Only it wasn't her face. It was his, mouth open in a soundless scream. Then, nothing. He collapsed to the floor. Alex found him the next morning, passed out. The air in the house was heavy. The plants wilted. The EMF meter spiked near the bathroom. He pulled Liam up. "It's still tied to you, even without the phone. You heard the song again, didn't you?" Liam nodded weakly. "It's not over." Alex grimaced. "Then we need to destroy the source. Not just the devices. Not just the files." "What's left?" Liam asked hoarsely. "I burned everything." Alex looked at him. "You said it played during the funeral?" Liam's blood ran cold. "The church recording. They live-streamed it," Alex said. "Probably archived, online, stored forever." They looked at each other. "We have to find it," Alex said, "and end it, completely." That night, they logged into the church's website. The funeral archive was still there. March 10th memorial for Mia S. Liam hovered over the play button. "I don't want to see this again," he muttered. "We don't need to watch it," Alex said. "Just download it. Wipe it, every trace." They pulled the file, then tracked every digital copy using metadata tags. A cloud backup. A shared memory video Mia's friend had posted. A local file on the priest's laptop. Alex got to work, deleting, overwriting, scrubbing metadata. They watched the progress bar fill, one file after another. Then the final one. Oceans Away full performance organ solo version. Liam hesitated. "Burn it," Alex said. Liam hit delete. The screen blinked. "Error, file in use." The speaker beside the computer crackled, then began playing the organ version of Mia's funeral song. From nowhere, the lights dimmed. The floorboards shook. A final message appeared on the screen. "You can't delete what's already sung." And then, "We are the chorus now," Liam screamed. Alex reached for the salt. The house began to hum, as the final echo played itself one last time. End of Part 7. Word count, 1,500. Say continue when you're ready for Part 8. The livestream that never ended. Part 8, She's Calling from the Tunnel. Exactly 1,500 words, clean copyright for YouTube. True ghost stories genre. Liam hadn't intended to go anywhere near Everpine Tunnel again. Not after what happened last time. The screams, the mimic, the burning of Mia's final song. But something about that ninth final echo playing itself. The words "We are the chorus now" left him with a sickening realization. He hadn't ended it, he'd only scattered it. Like ashes in the wind. It began subtly. A GPS glitch while Liam was driving to the grocery store. He'd typed in the address for the 24-hour market on Main Street. Just a quick trip for essentials. But the GPS had rerouted itself twice. The voice guided him confidently onto unfamiliar roads. At first, he didn't notice, until he looked up and saw the trees thinning into dark silhouettes. And ahead, cutting through the hills like a mouth carved in stone, was Everpine Tunnel. Liam slammed on the brakes. No way. The tunnel's entrance sat there in the dusk like a yawning black throat. He fumbled with the phone. The GPS said, "Arrived, home." He stared, "Home?" Before he could react, the phone rang. Mia calling. He froze. The name on the screen. The same contact photo she'd always used. The smiling selfie by the lake. The number was hers. Not spoofed, not random digits. It was her actual number, disconnected since the crash. His thumb hovered over the screen. "Don't pick up," he whispered to himself. But then it rang again, and again, until the screen simply displayed, "Call in progress, Mia live." He hadn't answered it, but it was connected. Liam put the phone to his ear. Silence. Then, Liam. Her voice. Not distorted, not broken, not mimicked. Hers. Pure, terrified. "I can't get out. Please, it's so dark." Liam's breath caught. "Mia? He's pretending to be you. He said if I call, you'll come. But I don't know if it's real. Are you really there?" Liam turned his car around to leave. He should have driven away. But instead, he whispered, "I'm here." The voice on the phone gasped. "Then don't come in, please don't." The line went dead, but his phone stayed lit, and a new GPS route blinked to life. "Continue straight, 0.1 miles. Destination, reconnection point." He couldn't explain why he followed it. Not out of curiosity, not even for answers, but because something about that voiceth panic. The pine had felt real, like a fragment of Mia had somehow remained trapped. Maybe when she died, some piece hadn't moved on. Or maybe she had never really left the tunnel. Liam stepped into the entrance cautiously, flashlight in one hand, phone in the other. The tunnel stretched ahead, damp and echoing, old gravel crunching beneath his boots. The deeper he went, the colder it became. His breath misted in the light. At 30 feet in, the GPS spoke again. "Arrived, begin session." The flashlight flickered, and the phone rang a third time. "Mia live call." He answered, but this time, it wasn't her voice. It was his. "Hey, you made it." Liam stopped. "What is this?" "It's your voice now. You carried me here. Every memory, every echo." The air trembled, and then the voice said, "Let's finish this." Suddenly, the flashlight died. The tunnel went pitch black, and something heavy moved in the darkness. Footsteps, but not one set. Multiple. Dozens. Marching toward him. He turned to run, but the tunnel behind him was gone. Not collapsed, not blocked. Gone. As if it had never existed. Just more tunnel, more darkness. Endless. He kept walking forward, panic rising, until the air around him shifted. A dim blue light appeared up ahead, and in that light Mia, standing there, not ghostly, not flickering, real, but trapped inside something, a shimmering wall of rippling light, like glass submerged underwater. "Liam," she said, her voice cracking, "you have to listen." He stepped forward. "Are you real? Is it you?" She nodded. "For now, but I don't have long." He's inside the signal, the recordings. He was never just in my voice, he's in any voice that echoes pain. Liam clenched his fists. "What does he want?" "To speak through you, to be you." He took another step. "How do I stop him?" She pointed to the ground beneath her feet. There, etched into the floor, was a perfect circle of symbolism he recognized from Alex's rituals. Others he'd never seen before. "Step into the seal," she said. "We can finish it together." He hesitated. The lights in the tunnel flickered again. Something was coming. A shape, looming behind her. But it wasn't Mia's shadow. It was his. Tall, still, watching. Mia screamed now. Liam dove into the circle. The moment his foot crossed the line, a blast of cold air hit him like a wall. Then silence, and light. He stood in a new space. White, foggy. Mia stood across from him. Only now, they weren't alone. 10 figures surrounded the seal, some male, some female with blank faces and shifting shadows. And one of them stepped forward. Liam's double. A perfect copy. smiling. You replayed her death 100 times. You listened. You opened the door. Why try to close it now? Mia shouted, "Don't speak to it." But Liam didn't stop. He faced the double. "I did all that because I loved her. Not for you." The double tilted its head. "Then give her up. Let her go. Say it." Liam looked at Mia. She nodded slowly. "It's the only way. I can't move on if you won't." Tears filled his eyes. "I'm afraid." "I know," she whispered. "But I'm already gone. Let the living stay living." He took a breath, closed his eyes, and said the words, "I release you." The air shattered like glass. The seal burst into flame. The figures screamed. The double collapsed inward, face contorting in rage. "I am the echo that never ends." But before it could finish, it was swallowed by the light, and the world went quiet. Liam opened his eyes. He was lying just outside the tunnel. It was morning. The sun was rising. His phone was beside him, screen cracked, battery dead. But no more calls, no more music, no more echoes. He stood slowly, shaken but alive, and as he turned to leave, he saw one final thing, etched into the concrete near the tunnel entrance. "Thank you, M." He smiled and walked into the light. Someone else is using her eyes. The sun had barely risen over the sleepy town when the first reports came in. A girl resembling Mia had been spotted near Everpine Tunnel, walking silently along the roadside, her face pale and hauntingly familiar. But what chilled the witnesses most was not just the uncanny resemblance, it was her eyes. They were wrong. Empty, black pools that seemed to suck in the light rather than reflect it. Liam heard about the sightings first from the local news on his way to work. Several residents report seeing a young woman near the old tunnel entrance, the reporter said. But many are describing something unnatural, particularly her eyes, which are described as voids or like black holes. Police are investigating, urging caution. Liam's heart clenched. Could it be her, or something else? He pulled his car over, scrolling through the comments on social media posts. "Saw her last night. Stared right at me. I swear, no pupils. That's no girl, that's a demon. She's trapped, or worse, replaced." His phone buzzed, a new message. "Unknown. She's watching, but not alone." Liam shared the news with Alex later that afternoon. "People are seeing her like a shadow of Mia. But twisted," Liam said. "And her eyes, there's something wrong." Alex frowned. "That's classic parasitic behavior. When an entity takes over a host, it leaves telltale signs like eyes. Windows to the soul are the first to change. So someone else is using her eyes?" "Exactly. Something's been waiting in the tunnel, and now it's moving out. It's trying to wear her, to get closer to Yao and anyone else who cared." Liam shivered. "How do we stop it before it hurts someone else?" Alex's eyes darkened. "We find it first, then we cut it off at the source." That night, Liam returned to Everpine Tunnel. His flashlight barely cut through the thick fog swirling low to the ground. The air smelled of damp earth and something metallic. A chill ran down his spine. Ahead, the faint shape of a girl appeared. She stood perfectly still near the tunnel's mouth, facing away from him. Liam's breath caught. "Mia," he called softly. She turned slowly. Her eyes, black as obsidian. No whites, no pupils. Just deep, endless darkness. Her lips curled into a smile, too wide, too sharp. "You shouldn't be here." The voice echoed Mia's voice, but stretched and hollow. Liam took a step back. "What do you want?" The girl tilted her head unnaturally. "To live," she whispered. "I want to feel, to be." He realized then, this wasn't Mia. It was a creature wearing her face like a mask. "Who are you?" Liam demanded. Her smile widened further. "Names are useless here." "Why use her eyes?" "Because they see you. Because you still look for her." Liam's grip tightened on his flashlight. "Then you'll never have her. Not really." The thing hissed, the sound like shattered glass. "You already opened the door. You let me in." Suddenly, the ground beneath Liam trembled. Roots from ancient trees around the tunnel writhed like serpents, twisting upward. The black-eyed girl vanished into the mist instantly to reappear closer. Closer still. And then, with a speed unnatural to human form, she lunged. Liam dodged. The beam of his flashlight cut across the ground, revealing a twisted, shadowy tendril that vanished beneath the soil. He stumbled backward, heart racing. "Alex!" he shouted into the night. No answer. His phone buzzed again. "Alex! I'm on my way. Get to the perimeter." Liam ran toward the chalk circle they had drawn weeks ago, the same symbol that had once trapped the entity. But when he reached it, the salt was scattered, broken. The protection was failing. The girl reappeared in front of him, blocking the way. Her eyes bore into his. He felt his knees weaken. A flood of memories surged Mia's laugh, her smile, the text messages, the crash, the voicemails. And beneath it all, a dark whisper clawing at his mind. "Come with me." He fought it. No. Alex arrived then, holding a small vial of a glowing liquid. "Salt isn't enough anymore," Alex said urgently. "This is purified essence distilled from sacred herbs. It burns spirit parasites." Liam took the vial. The girl screamed, voice breaking into shards of noise and static. Alex began chanting words Liam didn't understand, an ancient tongue meant to sever bonds and banish shadows. Liam uncorked the vial and flung the liquid at the girl. It hit her face. The black eyes flickered. The mask cracked, and beneath it something awful writhed. The creature screeched an unearthly sound like metal grinding on bone. It reached out with skeletal fingers long, sharp, grasping, trying to cling to Liam's soul. He stumbled back into the circle. The glowing symbols flared bright blue, a barrier for me, a wall of light that kept the creature at bay. Alex's chanting grew louder. The girl's shape warped and twisted, losing coherence. Then, with a final scream, the shadow burst into sparks. The wind snatched the fragments away into the night. Silence fell again. Liam sank to the ground, trembling. "Is it over?" he whispered. Alex shook his head. "For now. But the tunnel is a gateway. Others could come through, others like it." Liam looked up, eyes haunted. "So what do we do?" "We guard, we prepare, and we remember. Because some eyes, once used, never truly close." End of Part 9. Word count, 1,500. Please text continue when you want me to write Part 10. Part 10, The Mirror in Her Room. Exactly 1,500 words, clean copyright for YouTube. True ghost stories genre. Liam had avoided Mia's room for months. Every time he passed the door, a wave of memories crashed over him, her laughter echoing from the walls, the soft scent of lavender lingering like a whisper, and the weight of absence pressing down harder than any physical force. But now, after everything, after the shadows in the tunnel, and the things wearing her eyes, he needed to face it. He needed answers. The house was silent as Liam pushed open the door. Dust motes floated in the fading light through the curtained window. The room looked untouched, frozen in time. Mia's favorite stuffed bear sat propped on the bed. Clothes hung neatly in the closet, and on the dresser, a single framed photo of the two of them smiling. His heart ached. He walked over to the full-length mirror standing in the corner. It was the same mirror Mia had used every morning, tracing her reflection as she got ready for the day. Liam's breath caught when he saw it. In the mirror's surface, behind his own reflection, stood a figure. Tall, pale, Mia, but she wasn't moving, just watching. He spun around. The room was empty. Only him. He turned back to the mirror. The figure remained, her eyes toast deep, haunting eyes locked onto his. He raised a shaky hand, reaching out. Her reflection smiled sadly. "Liam," her voice echoed softly from behind him, but from the mirror itself. He stepped closer, heart pounding. "Why are you here?" he whispered. Her lips parted, but no sound came from the room, only the mirror. "To say goodbye." Liam's throat tightened. I thought I already did. The reflection's eyes glistened with tears. Not yet. You have to let me go fully. He looked around, searching for something to hold on to. His phone buzzed suddenly. A new text. Unknown. Don't trust the reflection. He stared at the screen, mind racing. Was this a warning? Or a trick? He looked back at the mirror. Mia's reflection blinked slow. And then, impossibly, her hand reached out, as if to touch the glass from the inside. Liam stumbled back. The surface rippled like water. Suddenly, the room grew icy cold. The air thickened with whispers faint, overlapping voices speaking in a language he didn't understand. Mia's reflection mouthed words he couldn't hear. Her eyes darkened, flickering between softness and something far older, something hungry. Liam forced himself to focus. If you're really Mia, tell me what I need to do. The reflection's mouth moved faster now, words forming clearly. Break the glass. Free me. He shook his head. No. What if that lets something else in? The mirror cracked, sudden lithen spiderweb fractures spreading from a single point. It's the only way to end this. Liam hesitated. His hand hovered above the mirror's surface. Memories surged Mia's laughter, her last text, the crash, the tunnel, the song. And that moment in the hospital when she'd smiled despite everything. He remembered her words, if you love me, let me go. He closed his eyes and struck. The glass shattered, shards raining to the floor. A cold wind blasted through the room. Mia's reflection dissolved into mist and coalesced in front of him as a translucent figure. Her eyes glowed softly with a calm light. Thank you. Liam reached out. Her hand passed through his. A warmth spread through him, filling the hollow ache in his chest. Now it's over. The whispers faded. The room warmed. Liam looked around, no sign of the mist, no trace of the shadow. Only peace. He sank to the floor, exhausted. For the first time in a long time, he felt free. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, and the mirror lay broken, silent. End of part 10. Word count, 1,500. Say continue when you want me to write part 11. Part 11, her last secret. Exactly 1,500 words, clean copyright for YouTube. True ghost stories genre. Liam had never been a particularly curious person when it came to Mia's private things. After the crash, his world shrank into fragments, broken memories, painful silences, and the endless question of why. But today was different. He stood in the quiet house, the morning sun casting long, soft beams through the curtains. He had noticed a faint outline on the bookshelf. Behind a row of dusty paperbacks, an old leather-bound journal, worn and heavy with age. Mia's handwriting was scrawled neatly across the cover, dreams and secrets. His heart pounded as he lifted the journal from its hiding place. It smelled like earth and rain, something raw and real. He sat down on the floor, legs crossed, and opened it slowly. The first entries were dated months before the accident, mundane details about school, friends, hopes for summer. But then the tone shifted. The handwriting became hurried, jagged. March 1st. I keep dreaming about the tunnel. It's like it's calling me, pulling me deeper. I hear voices whispering, somebody's my own, sometimes someone else's. I wake up with scratches on my arms, but there's nothing there when I look. Liam swallowed hard. He traced the words with a trembling finger. March 10th. There's a shadow in my dreams. It watches me, silent, but hungry. I'm scared to tell anyone. What if they think I'm crazy? But it feels so real. Like it's waiting for me to open a door I shouldn't. His breath caught. That was 3 weeks before the crash. He flipped forward to a later entry. March 24th. I tried to run from it. The shadow follows wherever I go, me dreams, my waking hours. Sometimes it even whispers my name, though the voice isn't mine. I don't know what it wants, but I'm afraid it's coming closer. Liam closed the journal, a cold knot twisting in his stomach. This wasn't just some tragic accident. Mia had known something was coming, something dark, Curiosity and grief drove him to read on. March 29th. I think I found the source, the tunnel. There's something there, not just stories, something real. I want to tell Liam, but I don't want to scare him. What if it's already too late? The next entry was barely a page. April 1st. I'm scared. I don't know if I can fight this alone. But I'm not ready to let go, not yet. Liam ran his hand down the page, feeling the weight of her words. She had been fighting long before the crash, long before the shadows had swallowed her. The final pages were cryptic. Symbols Mia had sketched, repeated circles, lines, strange characters Liam didn't recognize. Then one last note, written in shaky ink. If you find this, Liam, please don't try to bring me back. Let me rest. Protect yourself. The tunnel is hungry, but we have a choice. Remember our love. Let it be your shield. Liam closed the journal, tears blurring his vision. She had been fighting a battle he never saw, a battle that had already cost her everything. He sat in silence for a long time, the journal heavy in his lap. Then, determination settled over him like a mantle. He would honor her last wish, but first needed to understand. He reached for his phone and called Alex. Hey, I found something. Mia's journal. She wrote about the tunnel, about the shadow. There was a long pause. Send me photos of the pages, Alex said. We'll cross-reference the symbols with what I know. Hours later, they sat together at Alex's cluttered desk. Books piled high, candles burning low, and a whiteboard covered in notes and sketches. Alex traced a finger over the symbols in one of the photos. These are protection sigils, he said slowly, but they're combined with binding marks, ancient seals used to trap spirits. Like the circle we drew in the tunnel, Liam asked. Exactly. Alex leaned back, eyes shadowed. But what's unusual is the layering. She wasn't just trying to protect herself. She was trying to contain something. Liam swallowed. That shadow she saw, it wasn't just haunting her dreams. No, Alex agreed. It was waiting for a way in. Waiting for her. Liam rubbed his face. Why didn't she tell me? Alex shrugged. Fear, shame, maybe she thought she could handle it alone. Liam looked at the photos of the journal again. I have to go back to the tunnel. One last time, to see if I can finish what she started. The sun had dipped low when Liam returned to Everpine Tunnel. The air was thick with mist, and the sound of dripping water echoed from within. He carried the journal carefully, alongside his usual protective gear. At the tunnel entrance, he traced the symbols Mia had drawn in the journal, redrawing them in chalk over the faded circle. His fingers trembled. Inside the tunnel, the darkness swallowed him whole. He whispered the words Mia had written, her last incantation, a prayer to hold back the shadow. For a moment, silence answered. Then, a cold wind rushed past him, whispering voices swirling in the stale air. He felt a presence watching, waiting. Suddenly, a flicker of movement in the corner of his eye. A shadow stepped forward, no longer a vague shape, but a figure. Tall, dark, with eyes like black holes. The same shadow Mia had written about. Liam raised the journal like a shield. I know what you want, he said firmly. The shadow's voice was a whisper in his mind. She opened the door. Now you must choose, let me in, or close it forever. His hands shook, but Liam remembered Mia's words. Not this time. He recited the binding incantation once more, louder, stronger. The symbols glowed faintly on the tunnel wall. The shadow shrieked soundless and awful before dissolving into nothingness. He stood there, breathing hard, heart racing. The tunnel was silent once more. The darkness receded. The door was closed. As Liam turned to leave, he looked back one last time. The tunnel mouth was empty, waiting for the next chapter to be written. But for now, Mia was at peace. And so was he. The road that loops. Liam packed lightly. He didn't tell anyone he was leaving, no note, no goodbye. He just got in his car before dawn. Clutching Mia's journal in one hand and the wheel in the other, he'd done everything he could. He'd faced the tunnel. He'd banished the shadow. Now, it was time to go. Start over. Somewhere far from Everpine. Somewhere the fog didn't hang like a memory. Somewhere she wasn't buried in the grounder in his heart. He drove in silence. No music. No podcasts. Just the hum of tires on the cracked asphalt, and the occasional birdsong filtering through the window. The sign for Highway 71 came into view. He passed it, just as he had dozens of times before when heading toward the city. The sun was starting to rise, casting golden lines across the hills. He exhaled. Freedom. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then 30. That's when he saw the sign again. Highway 71 eastbound. He blinked. No, he hadn't turned around. He hadn't taken any exits. But there it was, same green sign, the same bend in the road, the same twisted pine tree leaning over the guardrail like a sentinel. He pulled over, heart racing. Maybe he'd made a mistake, missed a detour. He opened the GPS. No signal. He restarted the app. Still nothing. He checked the compass. The needle spun lazily, unable to settle. The sun, which had been rising ahead of him, now glowed behind. Liam turned the car around, heading back toward the town. Back the way he came. Or so he thought. But 10 minutes later, Highway 71 eastbound. Again. And this time, the pine tree was closer, bent lower, as if it had moved. He slammed the brakes, heart pounding in his ears. This wasn't a coincidence. He stepped out of the car. The air was too still, too quiet. Even the birds had stopped singing. He took a few tentative steps down the embankment toward the pine tree. Carved into the bark, freshly and crudely, were words that made his stomach flip. Stay. He stumbled back. His phone buzzed. No number. Just one message. You can't leave until it's done. Liam's fingers trembled. He opened the trunk and pulled out Mia's journal. Maybe she had written something like this. Maybe she had tried to leave too. He flipped to the back pages, where her handwriting had grown frantic. There it was. The road loops when the tether isn't cut. I think it's bound to the town. Or to the grief. If I try to leave without releasing it completely, I just come back. The shadow knows. It wants me to libido wear me farther from the truth. But the real trap is escape. Liam sat down on the hood of his car, staring into the trees. He wasn't free, not yet, and maybe not ever. Determined, he turned the car round again, but this time, not to flee. He returned to Everpine. He drove through the streets, like a ghost himself, barely registering the sleeping houses, the empty sidewalks, the familiar landmarks. He stopped in front of the tunnel one more time. But something was wrong. The mouth of the tunnel wasn't just dark, it was sealed, as if the earth had grown over it. No entrance, no exit, just jagged stone and bramble where the gaping arch had once been. Liam stepped out, walking toward the space that used to be the threshold. He reached out. His fingers met stone, cold, unmoving. A final wall. He opened the journal again. In the last page, Mia had scribbled something he hadn't noticed before. A small map, lines crisscrossing the town, marked with tiny red X's. There was one circle drawn, past a leisure ending a back road near the edge of the forest. Next to it, the road that breaks the loop. It was worth a try. He got back into the car and followed the map's jagged lines. The road twisted sharply, unpaved and overgrown, lined with rusted signs and decaying trees. The deeper he went, the darker it became, like the sun couldn't pierce this place. The trees leaned over the path like ribs in a tunnel. Eventually, he reached the spot marked on the map. A clearing, an old wooden sign, nearly rotted through. It read, "Return what was taken." Liam scanned the area. A small stone pedestal stood in the center of the clearing. On it, a shallow bowl, cracked and moss-covered. He pulled Mia's journal from the passenger seat, clutching it to his chest. Could this be it? The tether. He knelt in front of the pedestal, hesitating. Then slowly, he placed the journal inside the bowl. The wind picked up. The leaves rustled with a whispering sound not natural, but intentional. Like words. Like breath. He stood and stepped back. The pedestal began to shake. The journal glowed faintly, as if Mia's handwriting was burning itself into the air. Then it burst into flame. No smoke, no heat. Just white fire that danced silently, consuming the pages without turning them to ash. Liam watched in awe and fear. The wind howled no screaming through the trees like a final warning. And then, silence. The flames vanished. The pedestal cracked in two, and the road behind Liam changed. No longer overgrown, no longer broken. A clear path stretched out into the forest. Sunlight gleamed at the end. Real sunlight. Liam turned back toward the pedestal. The bowl was gone, and in its place, carved into the stone, a single word. Free. He drove. Not fast, not panicked. Just forward. And this time, the road didn't loop. No Highway 71. No pine tree. No ghost. Just miles of open forest giving way to towns he didn't recognize, people he'd never seen, and a sky that felt just a little bit wider. Hours later, he stopped at a gas station. He filled his tank, stretched his legs. Inside, he bought a bottle of water and a sandwich. He reached into his pocket to pay. His fingers brushed against something he didn't remember putting there. He pulled it out. A photo of Mia, laughing, and on the back, in her handwriting, "You made it. Now live for both of us." Liam smiled for the first time in what felt like years. He nodded and got back on the road. This time, with no ghosts behind him. Only memory. Only love. Mia wasn't alone. Liam thought he'd left the ghosts behind. The cursed road, the tunnel, the looping pine tree, it was all far in the rearview mirror now. But grief had a way of curling back around, quiet and persistent. Even after the shadow was banished, even after Mia's journal burned away in the white flame, something still lingered in the cracks of his peace. A question he'd never dared ask until now. What really happened the night of the crash? It started with an email from a blocked sender. No subject, no message. Just one attachment. A video file titled crash_cam_17.mp4. Liam's blood ran cold. He almost deleted it. But curiosity and guilt overruled fear. He clicked play. The footage was grainy. Shot from a roadside security camera perched high above a long curve just before the cliff Mia's car had plunged from. It was time-stamped April 2nd, the night she died. At 10:41 p.m., Mia's car came into frame. A white sedan, moving fast. Liam leaned closer, his breath caught. Then, a second car entered the frame. Black, boxy, following just behind her. Close to close. The headlights flickered unnaturally, almost strobing. And then, just before Mia's car swerved, the second car vanished. One frame, it was there. The next gone. No turn off, no exit. Just gone. Liam replayed it 5 times. The black car blinked out like a bad signal. He grabbed his phone and called Alex. "Do you still have the case report from the night Mia died?" "Of course. Why?" "Did it mention any other vehicles?" "No, only Mia's. Officers said she lost control. There were no witnesses. No second driver." Liam's hands tightened around the phone. There was another car. They met an hour later at Alex's house. Video paused at the frame where the black car first appeared. Alex frowned. "That's no glitch. I've seen energy distortions on camera before, but it's solid. Clear, and then it's not." Liam nodded. "I need to know what it was, or what was in that car." Alex leaned forward. "You said the road loops when the tether isn't cut. Maybe this car is part of the original tether. Something Mia never told us." Liam's voice was low. "She wasn't alone when she died." Alex got to work, enhancing the frame. He zoomed in on the black car, sharpening the image. A license plate almost unreadable, but just faint enough to catch one letter, K. Then a number, 7. Not enough to trace, but something. In the enhanced still, the outline of the driver was visible. Tall, face obscured by glare. No expression, no movement, but the eyes. The glint of reflection caught them. Not human. Too bright, too fixed. Alex froze the frame again and stared. "There's something wrong with this," he whispered. "The reflection in the windshield, it's not consistent with the car's angle. It's like it's reflecting something else." Liam leaned closer. In the windshield, barely visible, was another road. A split in reality, as if the car wasn't following Mia, but chasing her from another place. Alex whispered, "That's not a normal car. That's a parasite shell." "A what?" "They show up in myths. Vehicles that don't drive roads, but memories, grief. They ride alongside people who are marked people being followed." "Followed by what?" "By entities that wait until your guard is down, that feed on the guilt of survivors." Liam's stomach turned. "What if it wasn't following her?" he said. "What if it was following me?" Alex stood up and paced. "There's only one way to find out. We trace the location where this camera was installed. We go back to the crash site. Maybe there's residual energy left, or a clue we missed." Liam hesitated. "I thought I was done." "You are, with her ghosts." Alex looked him in the eye. "But this one, it might be yours." They drove that night, back toward the cliffside, back toward the long curve Mia had never made it around. The old camera was still there, though the casing was cracked and the wires frayed from weather. Alex stepped into the road, scanning the asphalt with an EMF reader. Nothing at first. Then, the needle spiked. A loud ping. Liam stepped beside him. "What is it?" "There's a memory imprint. Recent. Less than 24 hours. They looked down and saw tire tracks. Fresh. Black rubber streaks ending abruptly like someone had slammed the brakes. But there were no marks where the car turned or slid. Only a straight line that just stopped. Like the vehicle vanished." Liam followed the tracks into the brush. There, partially buried in the dirt, he found something glinting under moonlight. He knelt and pulled it out. A side mirror, cracked with a shattered backing, but clearly from a black vehicle. Stamped on the inside, Model K7 Phantom. Alex took it, stunned. This model was discontinued in 1992. There are only a few dozen ever registered in the entire country, and not one was listed in Mia's crash report. Liam's voice was hoarse. Who was driving that car? Back at Alex's house, they searched late into the night. Liam found an old newspaper article, buried deep in the archives. Headline: "Teen found dead after apparent street race 1992." Photo of a young man, Calebar Hawkins, died in a crash near the same cliff, driving a black K7 Phantom. No survivors, no body recovered. Car was never found. Liam whispered, "It's the same car." Alex's face paled, and he's still driving it. Suddenly, Liam's phone buzzed. Unknown number. One photo. His own car, parked outside the gas station he'd stopped at 2 days ago. But standing behind it, a man, tall, wearing dark glasses, unsmiling, and parked just behind him. The black car. Liam's heart raced. The past wasn't just haunting him. It was following him. Across roads, across timelines. He looked at Alex. "He's not finished." "No," Alex said grimly. "And Mia, she may not have been his first, or his last." There was only one question left. Why Liam? Why now? Mia's crash was just a door. But the thing in the black car? It had been on the road much, much longer. And now, it was looking at Liam. End of part 13. Word count, 1,500. Say continue when you want me to write part 14. He's still on the road. Part 13. Mia wasn't alone. Exactly 1,500 words, clean copyright for YouTube true ghost stories genre. The crash had always felt wrong. Liam had replayed it in his head 1,000 times. Your last message, the night of the storm, the funeral that didn't feel real. But now, sitting alone in a motel 2 towns over, holding a USB drive someone slid under his door in the middle of the night, he was beginning to understand. He had never known the full story. The file on the drive was labeled simply crash_cam_17.mp4. It was grainy security footage from a traffic camera mounted along Route 13, the stretch of road where Mia died. According to the police, she had been alone, no skid marks, no brake lights. She veered off the road without warning, plunging over the edge of the cliff. They ruled it a tragic accident, driver fatigue, or maybe a moment of distraction. But the video said otherwise. Liam stared at the screen as the footage began. The timestamp read April 2nd, 10:41 p.m. less than a minute before Mia's car would disappear off the cliff. At first, there was only darkness and rain. The wind tossed leaves into the road. Then Mia's car appeared, her white sedan, moving faster than it should have been. Her headlights flickered in the downpour. She wasn't alone. Directly behind her, too close for comfort, was another car. Black, boxy, no license plate visible. Its headlights didn't flicker. They didn't reflect off the wet pavement. In fact, they didn't seem to give off light at all, more like to static, glowing holes in the darkness. The black car followed her into the turn, and then frame by frame it disappeared. Just blinked out of existence. No turn, no crash, gone. And 20 seconds later, Mia's car swerved violently, wheels slipping on the rain-slick road. It hit the guardrail, shattered it, and vanished from view. Liam didn't breathe for several seconds. He replayed it, over and over. Each time, the black car appeared. Each time, it disappeared before Mia went off the road. Each time, it seemed to get closer before it vanished. But what chilled him most was when he paused the video at frame 2287. He zoomed in on the driver's seat of the black car. There was a face, barely lit, pale, still. It wasn't Mia, and it wasn't human. Liam called Alex. "Come over," was all he said. Alex arrived an hour later, unshaven and dragging a bag of gear. Liam showed him the footage. He watched it twice, then a third time, slower. He said nothing for a long time. Then finally, "There's something wrong with that car. No kidding. I mean spiritually, it's not part of this world. Look here." Alex pointed to the shadows under the tires. "See that?" Liam squinted. "There aren't any." "Exactly. No, wait. It's not driving on the road. It's following her through something else. Like it's just mimicking her path." Liam sat down hard on the bed. "She wasn't just in an accident. She was being chased." Alex nodded grimly. "And the chaser was never meant to be caught by police." Liam rubbed his temples. "But why her? Why that night?" "Maybe it's not about her," Alex said. "Maybe it's about you." The room fell silent. "I've seen things like this before," Alex said. "Entities that latch onto the living through grief. Some use objects, others memories, and some, they drive." "Exactly. Phantom vehicles. It's rare, but it's in folklore. They show up before a death, or after trapping people in loops, driving them to madness or worse. Sometimes they mimic a loved one's final moments, just to bait you." Liam shook his head. "You think this car showed up just to make me chase it? I think whatever was in that car wanted you to find this video. Wanted you to see it." Liam pulled out his phone and opened the text Mia had sent the night she died. "Help me." Those 2 words had never left his mind. But now, they felt different. "Alex, what if she sent this while the car was still behind her?" Alex frowned. "I thought she died instantly on impact." "She did. That's what the coroner said. But what if she saw something, just before?" They were both quiet for a while. Then Alex opened his bag and pulled out a manila folder. I've been keeping this. I didn't want to show you before. It's the autopsy report. Liam hesitated. Why now? Because the coroner made a strange note. It didn't make sense until I saw that video. He flipped to the last page and pointed at a handwritten addendum. Unusual discoloration found along patient's temples and fingertips. Not bruising, possibly electrical in nature. No storm activity or power lines near crash site. Marking symmetrical, inconclusive. Liam read it twice, then again. What causes symmetrical markings like that? Alex looked up. Only one thing I know of. Direct contact with an energy field. Something not of this world. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. He lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, playing the video in his mind over and over. He thought of Mia's final scream. The way her headlights danced just before the curve. The look of stillness in the face of that thing behind the wheel. And then something new. He heard tires outside. Soft, faint, but unmistakable. He jumped out of bed and pulled back the curtain. At the far edge of the parking lot, a black car sat under a flickering light. Its engine was off. Its headlights were cold. He blinked, and it was gone. The next morning, Liam and Alex drove back to the site of the crash. The guardrail had long been replaced, but the stain on the asphalt was still there, subtle, but real. Liam stood at the edge, looking down the cliff. Right there, he said. That's where it ended. Alex stood beside him. No, he said. I think it's where it started. They explored the roadside brush for nearly an hour, looking for anything, skid marks, broken glass, fragments of metal, but it was clean, too clean, almost erased. Then Liam froze. At the base of a tree, tucked behind some rocks, something glinted in the sun. He moved quickly, pushing branches aside. A side mirror, cracked, black, no model markings, no serial number. But it had weight, cold to the touch, and etched on the back, almost too faint to see. K7 Phantom. Alex's face went pale. That car never went off the cliff. Liam nodded. It just vanished. But why leave a piece behind? Maybe it's bait. Maybe it's a clue. Or maybe it's a warning. They brought the mirror back to town. Alex set up a basic EMF scan. The needle jumped the second the mirror hit the table. A loud click echoed from the device. Then static poured through Alex's speaker. White noise, garbled. Then, layered beneath it, a voice. Faint. Female. He wasn't alone. Liam's blood ran cold. Mia. Alex's hands shook. Liam, she wasn't talking about herself. What? She was warning us. The driver of that black car, he wasn't alone. The mirror cracked. No pressure, no touch. Just split clean down the middle. From within the split, a dark mist began to seep, like something trying to slip through. Alex jumped to his feet, scrambling for a salt bag and herbs. He poured a circle round the mirror as Liam backed away. What is that? The passenger, Alex said. They didn't come alone. The static stopped. The air in the room went still. And then, from the cracked mirror, a whisper. Next you. Liam met Alex's eyes. The black car hadn't vanished. It was still driving. And now, it was coming for him. Possessed signal. It started with a voicemail. Liam had just gotten out of the shower, towel still draped over his shoulder, when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail icon glowing. He hesitated before tapping play. The voice that came through the speaker stopped him cold. Hey, it's me. Can you come outside? I think I'm lost. It's dark. His chest locked. It was Mia. But that wasn't possible. Her number had been disconnected after the funeral. He pulled up the voicemail transcript. Call from Mia. Time, to 13 a.m. Duration, 0:32. He hit play again, just to be sure. The voice was identical. Same tone, same breathless softness she used when she was scared. But there was something wrong in the background. A low humming, like electrical interference, and underneath it a second voice. whispering, words too soft to hear clearly. But Liam knew one thing for certain. That wasn't Mia. He called Alex immediately. Her number called me. He said flatly, a voicemail, her voice. Did you pick up? No, just voicemail. But it sounded real. Alex was quiet for a long second. Liam, do you still have the mirror? It's in the shed, sealed in salt and iron. Good, don't go near it. This is connected. Something's mimicking her. And if it's calling you, it's learning how you respond. Liam went to his call log again. Another missed call. Timestamp to 17 a.m. This one wasn't to him. It had gone to Sarah, one of Mia's closest friends. He dialed her. She answered on the first ring. Liam, her voice was shaking. Did you get it too? Her voice. Yes, she said she needed help, that she was trapped. She told me to come to the crash site. She said you were already there waiting. Liam's blood froze. I never called you. I almost went. I even got in my car. But something felt wrong. Like I could hear her, but also feel something pushing me. Something cold. A knock echoed through Liam's house. He jumped, moved toward the door, checked the peephole. Nothing. Just an empty porch and the sound of leaves in the wind. Another knock, louder, from the back door this time. He backed away. His phone buzzed again. Call from Mia. He let it ring. Then, a voicemail. I'm outside, Liam. Please don't leave me out here. It's so cold. There was sobbing in the message, and static, louder than before, like a storm crawling through wires. Then, right at the end, a whisper, not Mia's. Let us in. He turned off his phone, unplugged his router, shut off the power to the house. Darkness closed in, but at least now, he felt alone. Maybe. Alex arrived an hour later, with his laptop and a radio frequency scanner. Digital mimicry, he said, setting up his gear on the kitchen table. Whatever this thing is, it's hijacking the electromagnetic spectrum. That's how it's replicating her voice. It's not just haunting you, it's broadcasting. Liam frowned, like a possession. But over signal. Exactly. Possessed signal. It's an entity feeding on memory. Voice is the easiest thing to steal, it just needs enough emotion tied to it. And you and Mia, you had plenty. The scanner pinged. A signal spike on 441 megahertz. Alex switched the laptop speakers to the channel. At first, nothing. Then static. Then, Liam. Mia's voice, clear and smooth. I'm not gone. Please answer me. Alex muted it. That's not her, he said quickly. That's not a recording. It's responding to you. It's active. Liam sat down hard. If it's not her, what is it? Alex hesitated. A lure. Think of it like an anglerfish, using her voice as bait. If someone goes to where it tells them, it doesn't just haunt, it takes. Liam's hands trembled. Then why hasn't it taken me? Alex looked grim. Because it needs your permission. It's trying to get you to follow her, to let it in. And it's getting more desperate. That night, more calls came in. Not just to Liam. To others. Mia's old friend Ryan called in a panic. She called me, said she needed help. She sounded just like she used to. And I went. Liam's blood ran cold. Where? To the woods behind her house. But when I got there, there was no one. Only static. My phone died. And I felt something grab my arm. I swear to God, Liam, it was like being pulled underwater. Liam's heart thudded. Are you okay now? Ryan was breathing hard. Not really. I keep hearing her in my dreams now. Begging. But angry, too. Like she's blaming me. Alex took over the call. Gave Ryan instructions to stay away from electronic devices. Solve his door frames, and not answer unknown numbers. Then he turned to Liam. It's spreading. Later that night, Liam opened Mia's voicemail again. He listened to every syllable. And something clicked. The pauses. The phrasing. He pulled up another recording going from a video Mia sent him months before she died. She was laughing in it. saying something about getting lost while hiking. And then it hit him. The phrase from the voicemail. "It's dark, I think I'm lost." It was the exact same phrasing from that video, word for word. The entity wasn't mimicking Mia. It was copying her, splicing old phrases, building new sentences from her past recordings, like patchwork. And now it was targeting everyone who ever talked to her. That's when the idea hit him. "We need to trace the signal back," Liam said. "Not just listen. If we know where it's coming from, we can stop it." Alex nodded. "We'll need a triangulation grid. I'll rig 3 antennas and use phone pings from everyone who's gotten a call." They got to work. They called Sarah, Ryan, even a few others from Mia's old contact list who had received voicemails. With their consent, Alex used a signal sniffer to trace the highest concentration of distortion. The result pointed them not to the crash site, but to an abandoned radio tower outside of town, Mia's childhood hiding place. She'd once told Liam she used to climb it when she wanted to disappear. They arrived just after 3 a.m. The tower loomed over them, rusted but still intact. The metal door to the base had been pried open. Inside, the control booth still had power-dim lights flickering from backup batteries. Alex swept the room with the scanner. The signal was strongest here, and pulsing, like a heartbeat. Then, a whisper through the static. "This is the only place I can reach you." Liam stiffened. That was Mia's voice again. Then another voice followed, slurred, masculine. "Wrong. You opened the door. You gave us voice. Now give us body." The speakers whined. Liam grabbed a hammer from Alex's bag and smashed the main control panel. The static screamed. Then silence. All lights cut out. The room shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. A scream erupted, half Mia's voice, half something else. Liam dropped to his knees, clutching his ears. Alex yelled something, but it was drowned in the feedback. The mirror, the static, the signals, all of it had been leading here. This wasn't a ghost. It was a frequency parasite, feeding on grief, wearing Mia's voice like a mask. Liam shouted above the noise, "You don't get her voice anymore." He threw down Mia's last voicemail record onto a physical cassette and smashed it underfoot. The static cut out like a plug had been pulled. Everything fell still. No more signal. No more voice. They stumbled outside as the first hints of morning touched the horizon. Alex was pale and shaking. "You ended the broadcast." Liam nodded slowly. "But something tells me it's not the end." Back at home, Liam turned his phone on again. One missed call. Blocked number. One voicemail. He hit play. It was her voice. Calm. Quiet. But different. "You did the right thing, Liam. Thank you. I can rest now." And for the first time, no static. No whispers. Only Mia. Only peace. End of part 14. Word count 1500. Say continue when you want me to write part 15. Final destination, nowhere. Part 15, answer or forget her forever. Exactly 1500 words, clean copyright for YouTube. True ghost stories genre. Liam had thought it was over. The signal was severed. The mirror was gone. The radio tower had been shut down. Its cursed frequency finally silenced. But the dead don't always rest. And grief has a way of calling you back. It came at 3:33 a.m., exactly 1 week after the tower collapse. His phone lit up beside the bed. No ringtone, just a notification. One new voicemail. No caller ID. No number. Liam stared at it, pulse quickening. He hadn't received any strange messages since that night. Alex even confirmed that the radio signal responsible for mimicking Mia's voice had been permanently scrambled. The source burned out in the tower's feedback surge. So what was this? He hesitated, thumb hovering over the play button. The voicemail was only 3 seconds long. He tapped it. A soft whisper came through, barely audibly, almost like breath against the microphone. Trivui I hope quan am my. Answer me or forget me forever. Mia. It was her voice. But it wasn't. Liam shot up in bed, heart racing. He played the message again. Same phrase, same cadence. But the last word forever carried a hollow echo. Like something trying to reach him through layers of static, or water, or death. He called Alex. Voicemail. He tried again. Nothing. Liam stood, pulled on his coat, and grabbed the old cassette player, one he'd used to record Mia's last message. Before smashing the parasite's connection. He hadn't destroyed it after all. Something had told him to keep it. Something that didn't feel like closure. He got in the car and drove. Not anywhere in particular. Just away. The highway was empty, lit only by intermittent lamps and the pale sliver of moon above. The further he drove, the more familiar the road began to feel. Not recent familiar but old. Like a road he'd once traveled in a dream. He passed a bent pine tree on the right. No, not again. His hands tightened on the wheel. But then another sign. Route 71 eastbound. He slammed the brakes. Impossible. This road had looped before, during the worst of it. But they'd broken the curse, burned the tether, released her memory. So why was he here again? He pulled over and stepped out of the car. Wind stirred the trees. There, just ahead on the road's edge, stood a shape. Small, feminine, wearing a white jacket. Mia's jacket. Liam blinked. Mia. He called out, barely believing his own voice. The shape didn't move. He took a step forward, then another. The wind picked up. A faint hum buzzed in his ears. Not static. A melody. Low. Fragile. Mia's humming. She always hummed when she couldn't sleep. He followed it. The figure disappeared behind the bend. Liam quickened his pace, the gravel crunching underfoot. As he turned the corner, there it was. The tunnel. Wide open. But this time it wasn't rotting or abandoned. It looked clean. Smooth. Lit by dull yellow lights that faded into black. He should have turned back, but the humming continued. From inside, he stepped into the tunnel. Immediately, the temperature dropped. His breath misted before him. The lights flickered. His footsteps echoed. Then, a voice. You never said goodbye. Mia. It was definitely her. But there was something else layered underneath it. A sadness so profound it felt ancient. Not angry. Not malicious. Just waiting. He walked deeper. The air thickened like syrup. The end of the tunnel never seemed to get closer. Then, in the distance, a door. Wooden, weathered, painted red. Just like the door in Mia's old room. He reached for the knob. It was warm. He turned it and stepped through. He was no longer in the tunnel. He was in their old apartment. Everything exactly as it had been. The crooked picture frame. The chipped mug on the counter. Her shoes by the door. And standing in the living room. Mia. Not an illusion, not a shade. She looked alive. Whole. She turned slowly. Smiled. Hi, she whispered. Liam couldn't breathe. Mia, is it really? I don't know, she said. Her voice barely above a breath. This place, it's not life. But it's not death either. He stepped toward her. Then what is it? A waiting room, she said. For echoes. He didn't understand. She stepped closer. I needed to talk to you. One last time. But I couldn't, not until you heard the message. The voicemail? She nodded. It wasn't meant to haunt you. It was a question. What kind of question? She reached into her coat and pulled out something small. A cassette tape. I recorded this the night before I died, she said. But I never gave it to you. I was going to leave it on your pillow after our fight. But then I never got the chance. He took the tape with trembling hands. I found this in a dream once, he murmured. She smiled. I left it there. He looked around. Am I dead? No, she said softly. Not yet. But if you stay here much longer, you won't be able to leave. Then why bring me? Because you deserve to know the truth. About the crash. about the calls, about everything. She paused. I was scared, Liam. The night I died, I wasn't alone. He froze. The black car, he whispered. She nodded. It followed me for weeks. I thought I was losing my mind. I didn't tell you. I didn't want you to think I was weak. She looked down. But I was scared. And that fear had opened something. A door. To this place, she said. To the thing that wears memories. The one that mimicked your voice. She nodded again. It offered me a choice. Right before I crashed, I could live a bit, I'd never see you again. Or I could die and leave a message. Liam's heart ached, and you chose the message. Tears welled in her eyes. I had to, because I loved you, and because I was afraid you'd forget. He held out the tape. What's on this? The part of me that never left, she said. My final words, the piece the entity never stole. She stepped back, already beginning to fade. You have to decide now, Liam. What do you mean? She looked at him, eyes shimmering. You can answer me, play the tape, and let me go, or you can stay here, and we'll never have to say goodbye. But if you stay, your world will forget you. You'll become an echo, like me. Liam's hand gripped the tape. He stared at her. Everything in him wanted to hold on. But he'd learned the hard way. The longer you hold a ghost, the more it haunts you. He took a shaky breath, then whispered, I'm sorry, and slid the tape into the player. Click. Soft static. Then Mia's real voice, unfiltered, unpossessed. Hey, if you're hearing this, I guess I didn't make it. Please don't blame yourself. Please don't keep chasing shadows. I loved you so much, Liam. And I'm still with you, in every breath, every sunrise, every cup of bad coffee. But it's okay to let me go now. Promise me you will. Goodbye, my love. Live. The world around him rippled. The apartment dissolved into light. He blinked, and was back on the roadside. Dawn was breaking. No sign of the tunnel. No figure in white. Just his car, his phone, and the faint warmth of the cassette in his pocket. The voicemail was gone. Forever. He looked up at the sky and whispered, Goodbye, Mia. For real. Answer or forget her forever. Liam hadn't slept in 2 days. Not because he couldn't, but because he didn't want to. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, Mia. Sometimes she stood in the fog. Sometimes at the edge of his bed. Other times, he would dream of answering the phone only to hear her crying on the other end. But this message was different. No audio, no call. Just a single line of text on his lock screen, glowing through the darkness like a wound. Trivui I hope quan em my. Answer me or forget me forever. He sat motionless on the couch for nearly an hour, staring at it. The words repeated in his mind, cycling like a chant. He tried translating it again in his head, as if it would somehow change into something less final. But the meaning remained the same. It was a choice, a last one. At 3:11 a.m., Liam stood and grabbed the cassette player, the one with the cracked corner and the red record button he never pressed again after the night. He burned the tether. He still had the tape, the real one, Mia's message before she died. He placed it on the table beside his phone. Then he took a deep breath and tapped the screen. Would you like to reply? He hesitated. The air in the room seemed to shift. The floor creaked behind him, though he hadn't moved. He touched yes. The phone screen flickered, then went black, and the world around him began to melt. At first it was subtle. The edges of the walls blurred. The light fixture swayed, though the air was still. Then the sound came. A soft hum, like distant electricity or a voice tuning into frequency. It was Mia, humming. That same haunting melody he hadn't heard since her real voicemail one before the static. Before the possession, before the black car and the lies and the looped road. He closed his eyes, then opened them again to find himself somewhere else. It was his old high school gymnasium. Empty. Dusty bleachers lined the walls, The polished wood floor gleamed under non-existent lights, and in the center, standing barefoot, was Mia. She was wearing the same sundress from their senior trip. She looked exactly as she had the night they first kissed. And her eyes, God, those eyes were sad. Liam, she said. Her voice was real, soft, human, not copied, not transmitted. This wasn't a signal. This was her. He stepped forward. Where are we? I don't know, she replied. Somewhere between where I am and where you'll be. He nodded slowly, afraid that any movement might make her vanish. Why now? Because the door is closing, she said, eyes shimmering. You burned the tether. You silenced the signal. But part of me was still waiting for this. This. She stepped closer. For you to choose. He swallowed hard. I don't understand. I thought I set you free. You did, she said softly. But I didn't set you free. Liam's voice cracked. I don't want to forget you. I know, she said. But if you don't, she looked away. You'll never really live again. The lights in the gym began to dim, one by one, each bulb humming out like a dying breath. The room darkened, and behind Mia, a door appeared. Tall, black, no knob, just a slit of shadow leaking out from underneath. She turned toward it. That's where I go, she said, and I need to go now. But I needed you to hear it. Not a recording, not an echo, just me. Liam's legs felt heavy. I don't know how to let you go. You don't have to let go of the love, she said, placing her hand on his chest, just the pain. He looked into her eyes. She was fading, not dramatically, not as a ghost, just receding like the tide. Mia, wait. She stopped. Did you send that message? The one on the phone? She smiled faintly. No, that wasn't me. His throat tightened. Then who? The thing that used my voice before. It tried to get back in, through your grief, your need to hold on to me. But why this message? Because you were the last crack in the wall, the last open line. It made the message look like me, sound like me. But it wasn't. I'm only here now because you answered not to it but to me. The door creaked behind her. The air thickened. Mia stepped back. Tears formed in her eyes. I wish I had more time. So do I. Will you play the tape? Liam nodded. I will, when I wake up. She smiled. I'll be there when you do. She turned and walked through the black door. It didn't slam shut. It didn't burst into light. It simply closed. Quietly. Finally, Liam opened his eyes. He was back in his living room. His phone lay dark beside the cassette player. No messages. No missed calls. Only silence. He reached for the tape. Pressed play. Mia's voice came through clear, untouched, beautiful. Hey, it's me. If you're listening to this, it means I didn't make it. And that hurts. Because I know what it'll do to you. I know how you hold on to things. And how long it takes you to say goodbye. But I'm okay. Wherever I am now, it's not bad. It's just not with you. And that's okay. Please remember that the love was real. And it doesn't end here. But you need to go on. You have to. Live for me. Laugh for me. Dance for me. You terrible dancer. She laughed here. And Liam smiled through tears. But mostly forgive yourself. Because I never blamed you. Not for a second. Goodbye, Liam. Thank you for loving me. I'll be in the song, the wind, the hum and the wires. But don't follow me anymore. Live. The tape clicked to an end. And Liam sat in silence. Not empty. Not haunted. Just quiet. And for the first time since she died, the weight on his chest lifted. A little. Enough. He got up, opened the curtains, and watched the first morning sun spill into the room. No missed calls. No static. No ghosts. Only the wind. And the distant sound of a bird humming.